The other day, somebody was complaining that they couldn't fall asleep right away. They would lie in bed and they just had to do something. So they would start, focusing on they would start going through their phone, playing on their phone, etc., etc. And of course, that did not help. But the main focus was that they just could not fall asleep. And so I wanted to make this video, and if you have this problem, in this video I'll explain why this is happening and then what you can do about it. So first of all, if you're lying in bed and you now are scrolling over the phone or trying to do something else because you can't fall asleep, the first thing I need you to see is that in that moment, what is happening in your body? In that moment, are you feeling like there is a lot of energy in you? And that excess of energy is making it so that you can't go into, obviously, a restful sleep. Because if that's the case, what is happening in that moment is that you're confronted with the Saboteur archetype. It's sabotaging you out of sleeping, not because it wants to do something bad, or it's not a bad archetype, even though the name looks, bad, for lack of better words. But it's an archetype it's a pattern that takes you to a question. It confronts you with the following question, which is, what is your choice, right? What kind of choices are you making? Are you making empowered choices or disempowered choices? Are you making choices based on your energy, on who you really are? Or are you making them based on obligation, on fear? This is the way it should be done, and not, I can't do it my way. And so when you can't fall asleep, all that energy, all that excess energy that you're feeling is your life energy that you haven't used throughout the day. You haven't used it. You've made choices that were stemmed out of obligations. This is the way it should be done. This is the way how other people told me it should be done, right? I have to do it this way because otherwise nobody's going to like me, right? This is how everybody is doing it. And so there is this life force in you that came into this onto earth, right? That just can't express itself, that can't show up as it is. And because every time you make a choice based on fear, you make a choice based on how it should be done, based on obligation, you are literally in that moment separating yourself from you, and you're putting yourself aside. And so that excess energy is not going to just vanish at some point, but it will accumulate throughout the day and in the evenings, especially before going to sleep, when you become, when you rest into yourself, when the obligations, the masks, everything fall down, all this energy comes up. And there's this buzzing that you'll feel. There's all this, it's like you'll feel like an energy that is coming, a very strong energy coming from outside, from inside out. And then on the outside, it's almost like there's a wall, an invisible wall that is holding all that energy in. And it doesn't feel good, right? And so this is why this is happening. And if this is what is showing up, most of the time what is happening throughout the day is that when you start your day, as you start your day and go through it, most of the choices that you're making are not choices aligned with who you are, right? So many people, and I see that many people do things, are in jobs or in relationships where it's not that they want to be there, it's they begrudgingly think that they have to be there. And so it becomes this mask where people don't even ask themselves whether they should be there. They just know they have to endure it. They have to force themselves. And at some point, it becomes such a default way of being that everybody even has a smile and they're like, yeah, of course, I'm fine here. I am fine, right? I have 4 addictions, but I'm fine where I am. And it just, and there's this dissociation that happens, a complete disconnection from self that happens that the person is not even aware of. And I'm just wondering if you have this problem, if this is something that maybe is happening to you. And so what happens throughout the day is that as the day starts, it's easier, let me say that way, to stay in this way, to stay in this default behavior, to say, I have to do this because I was told so, this is the way I should be doing things, etc., right? So there is this very robotic, you go into a very robotic way of doing things. It's almost like you cut yourself from life because you have no other choice, right? This is the way it should be. And so let me just numb myself and let me just do things very robotically, right? And this is okay, we are creatures of patterns, we're creatures that want the same thing over and over again, right? Again, for lack of better words. But at some point throughout the day, what will happen is that part that has to rigidify itself to survive, to do what they have to do, becomes tired. And so after a certain hour, that mask, that part starts becoming softer, it softens, it falls asleep. And so another part comes up. It's the part that was stifled. It's the part that wasn't listened to, that was hidden somewhere. And that part comes up with a vengeance because it's been held down for so long. So when it comes up, it's like, And so now what will happen is that part will start coming out and it's like a hungry ghost. I want this. I want Netflix. I want to binge on it. I want this food. I want sweets. I want everything that is soft, that is nice, right? Because it's been so harsh and hard till now. And so in the evenings, every possible addiction, etc., comes up. And most of the time, we think that this is our real self. And that's why we're afraid of it. And we want to contain it and hold it and, and do every possible thing to get rid of it or manage it. But the thing is that is not the real you. That is a reaction to you living in so harshly with yourself. It's a reaction to this, and it's not you. Let me say it again. This part, the I want, I need, etc., more, binging and all that, is a part that is a reaction to the part of you that feels that they're powerless and they're obligated to live a life based on things that they don't want to do. Right? So this is a reaction to this part. And the whole idea is to bring these two parts together. They become one. One becomes the structure, and one becomes one becomes the passion, the life, the animation, the buzz. So the one that is that comes up in the evenings, at night, before you go to sleep and all that. That's your buzz, that's your animation. The one in the morning is the structure. So when the two come together, I mean, it's a beautiful dance. And so how to get there? When you find yourself in that situation when you can't fall asleep, instead of going on your cell phone and all that, which you're going on your cell phone because you're wanting animation, a buzz, because you're feeling like there's this whole energy that wants to come out and is held back. So what you can do in that moment is do something fun and move. You need to move. That energy needs to move, because otherwise it will implode inside of you. You don't want that. So what you can do, an example, and then you'll know yourself what to do, is that you start moving to a dance, to a music that you like. Whatever music comes to mind, something that just makes you feel that buzz, that animation, makes you feel alive. Do something that makes you feel alive. And the best thing, again, the number one thing, according to me, is you need to move. It can be some ecstatic dancing where you're just moving to the beat and you're letting your body tell you how to move. And at first, maybe it's going to be a little bit, like this, right? But then at some point, it will start moving very naturally. It's going to become a flow, right? So that's the thing. And most of the time you'll see when you do that, afterwards it's going to be much easier to fall asleep. If there are other things that come up, maybe your creative energy, because that's the creative energy, your creative energy, maybe there's something you'll want to write, to do, or whatever, then do it in that moment. Let that buzz, let that life come out. That's one thing. That's at night. The second thing is, as I said, it's about bringing the two energies together. The one that is structured and the other one that is life, right? Filled with life. And how to bring it together. Here, the main aim will be for you to go from that harshness to softness, from harshness to a feeling, from dryness to a feeling of being alive. So what you do throughout the day is that look at the different options that you have in front of you. Let's say you have 4 options about what you want to do in that moment. And choose the option that gives you the most animation, that makes you feel alive, that makes you feel soft. And take that option. And then another choice will come, right? Another moment will come, and there is another choice to make. And again, look at the different options that you have and go towards the one that animates you the most. And as you do that throughout the day, and you really start small with little things, right? So that you're not overwhelmed. But as you start the day, as you continue with the day and you do it, you're building momentum. And you're building this momentum where instead of going towards this harsh way of being, you're slowly moving towards softness. You're slowly moving towards animation, towards your choices, towards what is aligned with you. And you will see that the saboteur will send your way many different choices. And every choice, make it more about the animation. And maybe at some point you'll forget and you'll make that very harsh choice. And even in that moment, take it in, tell yourself, okay, it's okay. I did that. Now, thanks to this, I know what softer is. I know what animated is. I know what I want. Thanks to the unwanted, I know what I want, right? And so you continue. And as you do it with little things throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, everything will start also shifting around you, because you'll start talking in a different way. You'll start making different decisions, right? And maybe you'll find yourself in those moments interacting with people, and suddenly there's a question you're asked, and there's a choice, and you find yourself in front of a choice where you can say something that should be said, or you can say something that is aligned with your truth, that is you. So you're giving yourself the choice to express yourself as you are, and you're living life completely in that moment, right? And in that moment, naturally you'll go towards that choice. And it will be little things here and there, but it will build up. And then even throughout the day, you won't have this dissociated day where, throughout the day it's all about obligations, and in the evening it's all about I binge, etc. But it's going to be structure, animation, and it will come together. It's going to be this beautiful play that will happen throughout the day. So I hope this is clear. If you have any questions, any comments, let me know down below. And if you want to work with me personally, there's a link down below. Ciao, ciao.